I'm going to get things started off with a quick announcement shot. Great way of letting everybody else know we're doing this. In case they want to join. But also, gives you guys a bit of a sneak peek as to how this weapon works. Now, of course, since I am using actual black powder, it does tend to be fairly loud. So, if you would not like to deal with the fact that it's a loud noise, I'd recommend covering your ears with the palms of your hands. If you want to stand in a quieter area, stand over there. What? Well, I don't recommend standing in the loud area. But now is the time. So, hey! Alright. This here is the matchlock firearm. It's the primary weapon of the English coming here to Virginia. And the reason why they're bringing this weapon, yeah, it's not the best smell. The reason why they're bringing this weapon is they're expecting a war between one or two nations at the same time, and that's the Empire of Spain and the Powhatan chieftain. Now, of course, they don't end up in any physical conflict with the Spanish here, but they do end up in 3 wars with the Powhatan here. Spanish, yeah, Spanish no, Powhatan yes. And so with this weapon, they're using it as a primary weapon because they feel like its advantages outweigh the disadvantages against the Powhatan, because the Powhatan are described at shooting palm-sized targets at 40 yards. I don't think they'll have a problem shooting me if they get within that effective range. So my goal is to keep them out of their effective range and still be able to hit them. And that's the point of this weapon. I am practicing for about 2 weeks when I'm initially trained with this weapon with a man-sized target at 100 yards. Though we do have stories of experienced musketeers practicing with 2-foot square targets at 200 yards. So you get extremely effective with this weapon once you learn its quirks, once you learn how to use it specifically, and all that sort of stuff that comes with learning firearms. But also with this weapon, it's going to pack a bit of a punch, because it's only going to take that 2 weeks for you to fire a 65 caliber bullet in this case at just under 1,000 feet per second, hitting with over 700 foot-pounds of pressure. This weapon can punch through any of the armor that some of you guys are actually wearing at about a 20 to 30 yard range. So within 20 to 30 yards, this bullet can punch straight through that. So it's not as protective as you might think. But also considering that a full-size musket fires a 75 caliber bullet at over 1,300 feet per second, this is tiny in comparison. This is why it's getting phased out. Because this weapon can only punch through that armor at 20 to 30 yard range. A full-size musket is designed to punch through that armor at 100 yards. This is small in comparison for Europeans. And so you have to be extremely careful wherever you're pointing it. Because if you don't want to shoot somebody, don't point it that way. So you're going to be drilled and drilled and drilled, because especially what's in my left hand is the main danger thing with this. It is a constantly burning piece of rope called slow match, burning at 600 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Black powder only needs about 500 to 550 degrees to ignite. Look what's strapped to my chest. Each one of these bottles called chargers holds enough powder for 1 shot each. All pre-measured, so I don't have to think. Just pop open and pour it down the barrel. And then I also have powder here on my right side in a priming flask. More powder that burns hotter and burns quicker, and it's sitting right next to my front right pocket, where there might be even more powder and shots to refill things, but I'm a walking OSHA violation and Roman candles rolled into one. I have to be careful, otherwise it's not going to be a good day for me. So that's why I'm going to be training a whole lot with this weapon to ensure that whatever happens, I'm not going to blow up. And so that drill goes as follows. Blow out your pan. Make sure there's no burning embers in that pan, because that's where you're about to add powder for your priming flask. Here on my right side, or in my case, a paper cartridge. Pour a small amount of powder into the pan. Then, shut your pan cover. That is your safety. For as long as your pan cover is shut, it should not go off, just be sure. Blow and shake off your pan to make sure there's no powder on the outside, and also make sure it won't pop open when you cast your pizza back to your side. Then take one of your chargers, pop that open, pour its contents down the barrel. Or again, paper cartridge. Draw your scouring stick, shorten it, take a bullet out of your pouch on your right side. Oh, because I'm being safe today, I'm loading a spitball. Use your scouring stick. Compact. Whoop. Powder and shot. Then return your scarring stick. Bring it back up. Take one end of your match and attach it to the serpentine, a basic mechanical system that just lowers the match into the powder once I pull the trigger. Now, of course, this entire process should take me about 20 to 30 seconds if I'm not talking. But if I'm working with a group, which I should be, not individually, as a group, we should get a rate of fire of 1 volley every 5 seconds, because only the front rank fires, and after that front rank fires, they goes to the back. Next group sets up, fires, goes to the back. Next group sets up, fires, goes to the back. You should get a rate of fire 5 seconds, so you get pretty efficient with this. But I'm not rate of fire once again, so you cannot have loud noises. Cover your ears with the palms of your hands. Good. Hey. Stop. Fire. And that is match on fire.
Woohoo!
Any questions? Yes.
The first time did you see the real bullet?
I did not use a real bullet, just a spitball. If we were to fire an actual bullet, it would be extremely dangerous, and we would not do it here. We'd do it in an actual gun range because that's the safest spot. Yeah. So this is where I store my powder. For each shot, just pop open, pour down the barrel. It's called chargers, and the whole thing's called a bandit. Yeah.